All right. Good afternoon. Well, it's good to be up here with Peyton. It seems like a short 4 years ago, we were up here on a difficult day. And, happy to report that as we temporarily went different directions, we both enjoyed a lot of success on the field, and it was always strange watching 18 out there without the horseshoe on his helmet. Not always easy. I must say, I think I speak for all Colt fans when we kind of feel like he's ours. Sitting here now, a short 4 years later, as I recall and go back to '98 and think about a pre-9/11 world and Bill Clinton as president. And I don't even know if I had a cell phone then. If I did, it was extremely big. I actually listened to the radio some still. I could handle some of the songs as opposed to today. I was a 30-something owner. Now I'm a grandfather, going on 6 grandkids. It was a long time ago. Peyton and I met at the surf club in Miami Beach for the first time in the spring of '98. So long ago that the surf club no longer exists, even though it was a landmark there for many, many decades. It's turning into a Four Seasons hotel now. But from that moment on, in the journey we went on with Peyton under center for the Colts was just incredibly special in every way, shape, or form, on the field, off the field. I just can't say enough for what he has meant to this franchise, to this city and state. You just simply run out of words thinking about how much number 18 means to us. And actions are the most powerful things in life, more powerful than words. So I do have 2 major announcements today. First of all, we are going to begin construction of a statue outside Lucas Oil Stadium that will feature Peyton, which will be up there for a very long time. It'll be a destination spot for all of our fans. Just like Jim Morrison's grave, or even though it's not a grave, Peyton, it will be a destination for people to leave cans of Budweiser or notes for you. So we'll collect those and get them to you as the years pass. We couldn't be more excited about the statue. It's not too often you build statues of people, particularly in their lifetime. But we're really excited about putting this iconic statue outside of Lucas Oil Stadium, where it will stand for many, many years. So much deserving. And on a second note as well, I would like to make a declaration. Pete, if you can bring up the declaration, please. Thank you. All right. This declaration, whereas April 18th, 1998, was the first day of the truly remarkable bond between the Indianapolis Colts and Peyton Manning. On that day, the Colts and Peyton Manning embarked together upon a journey of unparalleled accomplishments. Whereas over a 14-year career in Indianapolis, Peyton Manning's cerebral approach to the game revolutionized NFL football and made him an icon. His steadfast dedication to thorough preparation and meticulous attention to detail set a new standard for leadership and success. Whereas Peyton Manning has firmly established himself in the very first rank of NFL immortals. His achievements and records are too numerous to list, but first and foremost, each of those accomplishments performed with class, dignity, and love for the game. Whereas Peyton Manning's excellence was not confined to the football field. Rather, his extraordinary generosity and community involvement will continue to touch countless lives throughout central Indiana through the Peyton Manning Children's Hospital and his many other compassionate acts. Whereas the conclusion of Peyton Manning's playing career has caused us to reflect fondly on his epic journey and to conclude that the likes of him will never be seen again. Now, therefore, I, James S. Irsay, owner and CEO of the Indianapolis Colts, with profound appreciation, hereby declare that no future Indianapolis Colt will ever wear the number 18, and that Peyton Manning's Indianapolis Colts jersey will be hereby retired. Peyton, this ball is yours to mark that occasion, and you're the 8th retired jersey for the Colts. It'll never be worn again. Proudly sitting right next to number 19, who I know you have so much affection for. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Oh, I appreciate that. Let's do a picture right here.
Congratulations. Come on up.
Well, thank you so much, Jim. I can't tell you how honored and humbled I am by that two pieces of news. I really don't know what to say. It's just, it was my honor and privilege to play for this organization for 14 years. This is the team that I wanted to play for. I was glad that you all drafted me, and I'll always be a Colt. And so I can't tell you how special this news is to me. I was flying up here. Jim was, as he's always been, extremely generous and flew me up here. I was down in Florida yesterday, and I was kind of reminiscing on some of my trips on the Colts plane. And the very first time that Jim mentioned they sent the plane to Knoxville to pick me up, had to have been probably in February or March of 1998. They flew me down to Miami to meet with Jim at the Surf Club, which was a cool place. And Jim and I had a really special meeting and shared some private conversations that had a big effect on that journey that Jim mentioned. But on the plane, I was really nervous about this visit. I had studied up on my Colts personnel. I knew who Bill Polian was, Pete Ward, Bob Turpinning, and of course knew who Jim Irsay was. But on the plane was a Colts staff member named Kenny Haig. Kenny Haig. His name doesn't ring a bell to anybody that hasn't been here for the Colts for a long time, but I did not remember seeing Kenny Haig in the Colts media guy. I could not gather who he was or where he was from, and I was just nervous around him. I was thinking he's got to be probably in personnel, executive vice president, got to be a big role. And so I said, Kenny, how long have you been with the Colts? And he said, well, just my first year. I said, probably came from the Carolina Panthers with Bill Polian, probably assistant general manager. And was real nervous, and yes, sir, and no, sir. And I said, well, Kenny, who were you with, before you got here? And he said, oh, I was the road manager for Live and the Indigo Girls. He had an English accent. So I know Dean and Hunter will appreciate that story, but I kind of relaxed from that point on and went down and had a great visit with Jim. And then, of course, getting drafted in New York. Jim was there, got drafted, and then flew here immediately after the draft and came right here to the Colts facility, and a lot of things were different back then, Jim. Bill Polian had red hair. Mike Chappell had the same mullet he has now. But I can remember sitting in the front row with a friend of Jim's. I can't remember his name, but he was asking me, who do you think we're going to take in the second round? You think Randy Moss is going to be available? We were already analyzing the second round. I said, I can't tell you. I'm just so excited to be drafted by the Indianapolis Colts and looking forward to starting this journey. And then Jim, 15 years ago today, was generous enough to fly Ashley and I on our honeymoon down to Mexico. And just extremely generous, always has been. He flew me to my grandmother's funeral on that plane, flew a bunch of us to Reggie Wayne's brother's funeral, and Jim has been extremely generous to me, and I'll always be indebted to you for that, Jim. After that first visit here, after the draft, we had a mini camp starting that Friday, and rookies weren't allowed to report to mini camp until that Friday. I ended up reporting on Tuesday and spending 3 days and nights at the Signature Inn on 38th Street, which is not there anymore, with Tom Moore and Bruce Arians going over the Colts offense. Jim, I hope the NFL can't penalize you 18 years later. You really should penalize the Cardinals. It was Tom Moore and Bruce Arians' idea. So go after the Cardinals. But learned that offense and started that mini camp on Friday, and we kind of hit the ground running. I can remember when I signed with the Colts, I missed 3 days of training camp. Did not want to miss any camp, but kind of learned the business side of things, and may have missed some more time if Kelly Holcomb didn't run into Marshall Faulk on a handoff in training camp. Marshall Faulk turned to somebody and said, "Get that rookie quarterback in here." And I was on a commercial flight into Indianapolis that night and met Tom Condon over at St. Elmo's. It was his third trip to St. Elmo's that night, which has got to be a record, and then came over here the next morning, signed my contract, and drove up to Anderson with Bill Polian, and was at practice that afternoon. I was thinking on the plane ride about some memories of my time here. I mentioned a number of them last week in my press conference, but the very first preseason game, my very first pass, I threw a 5-yard touchdown pass, and Marvin Harrison ran 48 yards for a touchdown. I remember thinking, this NFL is easy. You just throw a short pass to Marvin Harrison, and he runs for touchdowns, which is pretty much what he did for the entire time he and I played together. And I think many records will be broken. Most of my records will be broken. I don't believe that record that me and Marvin have of throwing the most touchdowns together will ever be broken. And even though it was a preseason game, that was the first of many. I completed 4 more passes that night, 2 of them to Seattle, and but I remember that first touchdown to Marvin. That rookie year, I remember we won 3 games that year. One of them was against the New York Jets, who were a great team, ended up going to the AFC Championship, but kind of just an example of what happens when you go 3-13 and you're a rookie quarterback. I was already leading the league in interceptions at that point, already thrown 2 in the first half. But we're in this game, we're on the 50-yard line, there's 10 seconds left, and the coaches say, hey, just throw a Hail Mary, just throw it deep. I'm thinking, this is an automatic interception. I mean, it's 50-yard line, there's no way my receivers are going to have time to get down there. I said, can we please try to throw a shorter pass, get closer, maybe give us a chance for a field goal? They said, no, throw it in the end zone. I'm thinking, Mike, third interception for the half, not exactly what I want to do. We have a chance to win this game, so I drop back. The Jets were not looking for this. I actually run 9 yards to about the 41-yard line. I dive out of bounds with 1 second left, right in front of Bill Parcells, and he's going, that's it, the half's over, half's over. And I go, no, there's 1 second left, there's 1 second left. And they're fighting. All of a sudden, the referee says, all right, 1 second left. I run off the field, and coaches go, hey, great job, smart play, way to be heads up. That's good thinking. I'm really feeling good. Go out there and kick a field goal, and Aaron Glenn catches the ball in the back of the end zone and runs 109 yards for a touchdown the other way. And the coaches go, you are so stupid. Why did you do that? We told you to throw it in the end zone. Those are things that happen when you're a rookie quarterback as a first year. I can remember a preseason game going down to Mexico City against the Steelers. And my center, Jeff Saturday, catching a little Montezuma's Revenge, and me asking how much we could be in the shotgun a little bit more that evening. I remember Reggie Wayne's first touchdown against Houston on a tip ball, kind of a uneventful game, but I remember it. I remember calling over here 297 Colts to, want to talk to a coach or John Scott or somebody, and hoping to get on hold so I could hear Bob Lamey broadcasting a play from a previous play in the season. I used to love that. And usually when you called, Carol would put you on hold for about 5 minutes. And so, but I actually enjoyed it. It's the one time I liked being on hold. I can remember Colts fans, just the amount of jerseys they wore in the stadium, in the old RCA Dome, more than any other stadium in the league, in my opinion. I remember Tony Dungy's press conference and meeting with him and learning some of his phrases and expressions, no excuses, no explanations, and keeping those with me throughout my entire career. I remember the calmness of Coach Dungy in the AFC Championship down 21-6 and saying, we're fine, we are fine. I also remember him saying all week that we were not going to kick the ball to Devin Hester, and then some players going, no, we can get him, let's do it. And the one time that Coach Dungy actually changed his mind, and well, that didn't work out so well in the kickoff, but we sure did win the game, and that sure was a special night. I can remember the fan celebration here in Indianapolis after we beat the Patriots in the championship game. There was nothing quite like it in downtown Indy. I remember that miracle night in Tampa, and I remember getting texts and emails saying, hey, sorry about the loss. Keep your head up. Good luck next week. I could remember the painful losses against the Steelers and the Saints, and I can remember walking off the field with Reggie Wayne, who was from New Orleans, two guys that just got beat by their favorite team growing up. But I was glad to be there with Reggie, and I was glad we bounced back after the Steelers won a Super Bowl the next year. I remember the old AFC East, right? The original AFC East. Head coaches that year were Jim Mora, Jimmy Johnson, Bill Parcells, Wade Phillips, and Pete Carroll. I remember the RCA Dome and how loud it used to be, and watching Mathis and Freeney speed up the field and Bob Sanders torpedo some guy right in the back. I remember some deep communication philosophy talks with Howard Mudd on protection. I remember Tom Moore and his famous expressions and sayings. We made a T-shirt that said "Late Night from Terre Haute with Tom Moore." He had his top 10 sayings that Tom actually hands those out now like a business card. Somebody meets them, but there's so many of them. And just a couple of my favorites. He used to always tell you, hey, if you keep throwing that ball high across the middle, they're going to be carrying that guy out boots first. He used to love that expression. And my all-time favorite was around minicamp when you had to turn your playbook back in after the minicamp because you didn't know, these rookies that were even going to be on the team by the time we reported the training camp. He'd say, hey, this is our stuff. These are our plays. Don't be going back to your colleges and high school and giving them our playbooks and giving them our plays. Tell them to get their butts up earlier in the morning, work a little harder, and come up with their own plays. I remember that like it was yesterday. I remember coming over here on Tuesdays as a rookie and throwing out routes to Mike Mays out here out on this field because I couldn't complete this out route to the left and throwing balls with smack. I remember arguing with Jeff and Tarek over whether we should be running the ball more. Some healthy conversations on the sideline. Kind of always felt outmanned by that. I remember Bobby Knight coming out here and speaking to the team. We had just gone from 3-13 to 13-3. And he said, you think if you have the greatest turnaround in NFL history, they would give you more than a game in Mexico City as a reward. We were playing, he had this classic light blue sweater on as well. I remember a lot of golf matches at Eagle Creek and Golf Club of Indiana, Broadmoor, CCI, Crooked Stick Wolf Run with Clyde and Stokely and Dallas. And you did not want to miss a putt on the 18th green because you'd get over here to lift weights the next morning and the whole building would know about it. They would come and tell you, hey, I heard you missed a 5-footer on 18. I will miss that. So many players, Ryan Deem and Hunter Smith are here. We had so many great guys. We had such a special group. And the most important thing about it is everybody knew how special it was, what a unique group and bond we had. And it really was special. And I've heard from so many of those players this past week, Robert Mathis and Joe Adai, Dominic Rhodes, and, just so many great guys, and I miss, playing with Deem and Demoling and Jake Scott and Lil Joe. We used to smoke a cigar after the game right by the buses, right by the plane before coming back from a road game. And every time, this lady from the TSA would go, you cannot smoke out here by the plane. I mean, there's gasoline out here, and Dean would stand up and go, "We're smoking, all right? We're smoking." She'd go, "Okay." She'd just back off every time. I can remember those, and I always cherish those. I used to, every time I do a new commercial, I would get an early copy of it. I'd go in the equipment room, and I would show it to John Scott and T and Frog and Smack, kind of get their approval. And if they were laughing real hard, then I'd say, "Okay, let's go with it. It must be a good commercial." I can remember Fuzzy and Marty, our video guys, dropping beta tapes off at my house at 9:30 at night because I'd asked, "Hey, do we have a copy of that Tampa game from 5 years ago against the Cowboys?" And they would do it. They would come to my house and bring me a beta tape. I remember many a funny conversation in the training room with Dave Hammer and Wally and Aaron, and catching up on all the funny stories that have gone on during the week. And I see a lot of gray hair on Aaron. A lot of that's because of me and all the rehab that I made him put me through. But he did the very best and got me back healthy and playing again. I can remember Jim Morris playoffs press conference, which I'm sure people enjoy it. Not exactly a fond memory for me. The reason he said that is because I threw 4 interceptions in that game against the 49ers, so I don't enjoy seeing that quite as much. Remember many a quarterback meeting with Kelly Holcomb and Brock Heward and Jim Sorgi, Curtis Painter. Those guys helped me so much. I can remember my rookie year having so many tough games, and I lived for a short time, my rookie year, at the Indianapolis Athletic Club, and getting home and watching Channel 13, Dave Calabro and Jack Trudeau absolutely ripping my face off about how bad I played that day. But they were right. I did play bad, and I deserved it. Remember Dilger and Pollard, just always enjoying breaking the huddle, having Dilger and Pollard at each of my tight end spots. Remember Mike Vanderjagt kicking 2 50-yard-plus field goals in the snow in Denver, and our flight got canceled back on the way to Denver. We stayed up all night at some crappy hotel in Denver, but we all enjoyed it. So anyway, those are my many memories from the Indianapolis Colts from my time here. Rich Howell, I forgot him. Rich Howell is our weight coach, but he was our snapper out there, and he had carpal tunnel, almost had to have surgery because of so many snaps he gave to me. So anyway, I really have enjoyed this past week and a half of going down memory lane, and I really tried to avoid doing that, while I was playing. And but this past week and a half, it's been a lot of fun. Communicating, getting texts, voicemails. Jim and I had a fabulous conversation last Sunday on the day that I announced I was retired, and many conversations like that with so many members of this organization and players that played here. And boy, it really means a lot to me. So to be back here and to see some of the folks face to face, and to be here on this day of this extremely special announcement for me, I just can't tell you how honored and humbled I am, and how much fun I had playing here for 14 years. And just thank you all very much from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
Thank you. Peyton will take a few questions right now. So you want to pick?